In fact, this is the mindset, the setup. Socially, we have been set up to indulge in one last prejudice, as we move closer and closer as a society, as a culture, to accepting each other. In fact, there was a quote on one of the PAMA brochures that I just loved that said, "Diversity is the new normal, with one exception, weightism." And that's exactly what's going on here. It's fueled by the advertisers. It's directed against people who fall outside the lines of our cultural standards of beauty and thinness. This article right here, written by a female, features Eva Mendes. It's a large spread, of which this is only one page, discussing in detail how women can minimize imperfections such as curvy hips. Now, guys, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I need to do it to make a point. When was the last time, by a show of hands, that you walked by a woman with an hourglass figure and you said, "No, not for me"? I don't see a single hand. That's not an imperfection. The hourglass figure, curvy hips, that's the way we're made. That's what we're supposed to look like. There's nothing wrong with Eva Mendes' shape, nothing wrong with any of us. If we got curves, it means we're, we're a girl. It's what's supposed to happen. For guys, if you think you're immune to this, to the pressure to buy into the $60 billion weight and diet and beauty and physical appearance industry, pick up a copy of Men's Health or GQ or Best Life for Men. The advertisers have figured out that you've got just as much disposable income and just as many insecurities. They just package it a little differently. You're not going to buy something if you think it's going to make you more beautiful, right? I don't know a guy that wants that. So they tell you it's for your health. This is the Belly Off Club, courtesy of Men's Health magazine. So there's a lot going on to target both of us. These are some ads. This is one of my all-time favorite ads. I don't know how many of you can see it, but the young, fresh-faced female in the ad has had a rather difficult day because her boyfriend just left her for her mother. Wow, that's gotta suck, right? What's the solution? Now, you probably can't read it down at the bar. It's at the bottom. It says, "Morning got you down? Try new Nestle Crunch Sticks. Make everything better." That wasn't the first thing that would come to my mind if my boyfriend left me for my mom. But, it's got its possibilities. Right now that it's stuck in there, we might consider it. How about this? Sometimes what you wear for dinner may depend on what you eat for breakfast. Or one of my favorites, free yourself for diet products. Or you ladies who are single that just went out on a really great date, had a really fun time. This jeans company wants you to know that if he said the first thing he noticed about you is your great personality, that he lies. Who are you going to believe? That guy, that human being you just spent 2 or 3 hours getting to know and interacting with, or some random company that wants you to sell you a pair of $100 jeans? It's got more validity than we may think. The second phase is self-objectification, kind of what we were talking about earlier with Marla Sokoloff. It's not, do my knees work? It's how do they look? We place more value on our appearance than on functionality and our ability to engage in a life that we enjoy and do all the things that we want to do. Here we've got step 1, a commercial for skincare products. So here, beneath the surface, there's a breakout that's about to ruin your whole day. Only if you let it. But that's the mindset. Oh God, if I break out, I can't go on a date, I can't go to the prom, I can't go to homecoming, wherever. I can't show up in class. I had a roommate in college that wouldn't let anybody into the house when she had a zit. I am not kidding. That wasn't her only issue. But okay, second, those of you who are, thinking about getting engaged, married, Cartier has an important public service announcement. This is what extraordinary love looks like. Aren't you glad they told you now? Otherwise, we wouldn't know, right? How about this? Any of you want to have kids someday? Or maybe you already have kids. What happens when they hit the terrible twos and they start screaming, "Mommy, Daddy, I hate you more than anyone else in the world and I'll never love you again"? You run for the Kellogg's. The fruity snack kids will adore. Who says you can't buy love? Whew. All that money I spent on parenting books. What a waste. This is what we might politely call the matrix. By the time you reach the age of 17, you will have seen almost, really, these days, these figures probably aren't even accurate. I would say closer to, I've read figures as high as 1,400 ads a day, probably 500,000 ads. If you ever noticed, if you've ever done any work in lower income school districts, how many school districts have really great technology, closed circuit TV systems throughout the campus, donated by generous corporate sponsors. That really moves me. They really get the plight of the underprivileged in our society. Why do they do that? Because studies have shown that kids ages 2 and up can process complex visual images and messages, and they cannot tell the difference between a program and an advertisement. So those closed-circuit TVs, in exchange for their generosity, they get a percentage of airtime every single day to air their specially formulated programs for the students so that when they hit about age 10 and they get an allowance, or they hit 14, 15, get a part-time job, they know how to spend their money. For those of you who've ever maybe taken a geography class or ever actually been able to travel to the little island of Fiji, Fiji was one of the last bastions that was free from westernized culture, and it was not uncommon to walk outside your door in the morning, see your best friend, and have her say, "Wow, you look great today. Looks like you've gained a few pounds." What would we do if what did I do when I walked out my front door and was confronted with this issue? I didn't exactly go running down the street celebrating. But this was normal. The standard of beauty was different, more like Marilyn Monroe, until we managed to figure out how to pipe in 90210 and Melrose Place. Within a year of watching our westernized TV programs, almost 3/4 of the young ladies there started reporting vague feelings of being too big. They really weren't sure what that meant, but they knew they were too big. And about 60% of them went on a diet. You know, more than half of the ads that we view in these fluffy reading materials that we pick up in the airport lounges and read it whenever we're checking out at the grocery store, over half the ads we see will tell us that our beauty, our attractiveness, our appeal to other people, our chances for success in life are directly linked to purchasing that product or service, and yet 95% of the products and services that are advertised are sugar-coated cereals, fast foods, candy, soft drinks. In fact, if you want to learn more about this, if you're maybe in a major or in a class that really delves into this, you can buy a book by Jean Kilbourne called Can't Buy My Love, where all of this data came from, and she's kind of the pioneer in investigating how the media and how our culture affects us. She's done some really amazing work over the years. I don't know how many of you have ever seen the dub videos for the Campaign for Real Beauty and the Global Self-Esteem Fund. But I just wanted to share a very short video with you to kind of get your mind going the next time you pick up a fashion magazine and you think to yourself, man, I really need to work out, or I need to not eat, whatever it was I was going to eat, because it's just not real. And we need to know that.